Hello, 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 and welcome to Green Tech Southwest, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. We'll be getting started very soon. Sorry, a bit later to join than usual, but we'll be kicking off at past as usual. So get comfortable, grab a seat, grab a drink, grab a bite to eat, whichever, whatever helps you make this next hour even more enjoyable. And yeah, we'll be getting started at past. But this is a good time for just to create a bit of atmosphere and to get people introducing themselves to each other. It'd be good if you could let us know where you're tuning in from, what is it you do, what brought you to Green Tech Southwest today, what you're keen to hear, that anything like that. Doesn't have to be all of that, you're not writing an essay for me, but just anything to basically help create a bit more community vibes. As we always say, we do love a chatty feed. So so I'll start off. I'm Ellen. I'm one of the co-founders here at Green Tech Southwest. I'm really looking forward to hearing from Professor Deborah. Really, really glad that she can make time for us today. It's a huge honour. I'm really looking forward to hearing her talk more about the sustainability of data centres and some of the groundbreaking research she's doing. That'll be really exciting. A couple of sort of housekeeping bits and bobs, just for anyone who's new here, and know that there's so many different platforms to join virtual experiences from these days. So throughout the talk, you'll be able to chat away in the comments, just as usual. The speaker will be on the side and you can keep talking on the comments, which we absolutely love. If there's anything that sort of Deborah talks about that you've got any experience with, or have an article that you want to share, do feel free to just go ahead and share anything that you think might be of use to people. As I always do, sort of round up at the end and make sure this is all available. All the resources shared are available on our website. Don't be shy. Another thing is we throughout the talk will be putting out some polls just related to the topic, just to sort of gauge your knowledge on things and keep a bit interactive. So that'll be down the bottom, I think, bottom right hand of your screen. It'll pop up there. Absolutely no obligation to engage, but if it is there, if you're keen. And then also we will be doing a Q&A with Deborah at the end of the talk. So any questions that you've got for her, there's a button as well next at the bottom right hand side of the screen, which says ask a question. And feel free to just please put your questions in there. And we'll be able to go through them at the end and put them to her. But we just what that means is that people can upvote them as well, or downvote them. But no, I don't think people don't really do that. So it means that we can make sure that the most burning questions get answered first. We will be sort of trawling the comments to make sure that nothing gets missed, but that'd be really helpful. Lauren, amazing, great to see you here. Thanks for introducing yourself. It's you've been to many of our meetups, and we do really appreciate it. Lawrence is actually also from one of our wonderful sponsors, the Sustainable Business Programme, as part of the University of Bath and Set Squared. Massive thank you to those. And also our other wonderful sponsors, Crystal. Massive thank you for those guys as well. We also had an interview with Deborah a few weeks ago, just sort of leading up to the talk, which is really interesting, which is on our website. If anyone's keen to check that out, I think lovely, right on cue. Hannah and Mike have popped a link down in the comments there. Definitely worth sort of having a read and hearing more about it. Thanks to everyone who's sort of joining. I can see the numbers are racking up a little bit. As I said at the beginning, we'll be getting started at past on the dot. But it'd be great if we could hear from many of you, just to let us know where you're sort of tuning in from. Getting to know each other. That doesn't sound too cringe. Just before we get started. So we've got a couple of I can see we also have a couple of people who are regulars here, which is great to see you come back. But if you're new here, it'd be great to see what brought you here and what you're looking forward to today. But yes, looking to get about 2 minutes now. We'll also be doing 60-second intros. Those of you familiar, like I said, can just tune this out. But this is where we give anyone an opportunity to do a 60-second shout out. We'll invite you on screen, and we can you can basically just shout out any projects that you're working on, or if there's anything that you think is interesting to anyone else in the community. We give you a bit of a platform for that. And yeah, just so yeah, warm up the voices if that's something you're keen for, so you're not sort of caught out. But yeah, that'll be happening just before we welcome Deborah. We've also got an ecology forest, obviously being a green tech startup meetup. We want to put our money where our mouth is, basically, and make sure that we're not causing any creating any carbon emissions. So what we do is we have an ecology forest that we use to offset any of our events. If you'd like to contribute to this forest, absolutely no pressure at all. But the link is just down the bottom there. We like to equate it. So if you were to buy us a drink at the end of a physical meetup, this is another way to do that. But as I said, absolutely no obligation. But yeah, it's a pretty big forest these days, so we're very, very grateful. So yeah, we'll getting started pretty soon. Oh wow, so we've got someone, Ivan from the Olio app. That's amazing. I am a massive user of Olio. It definitely has helped me out in a bind many times. So very cool to have you here. Then thank you for introducing yourself. I hope you enjoy the event. Yes, definitely very well. There's massive usage on my street for sure. So that's great. So yeah, I think I'll be joined by Hannah and Mike as it's past now. So that concludes my endless rambling. And we'll be getting into the meat and potatoes of today's event.
Meat and potatoes of today's event. Nice one, Ellen. Fantastic. Shall we commence? Let's pop some slides up. Okay. So a huge welcome to everybody that's joining us at Green Tech Southwest today. There's a nice number of you piling into today's event, some familiar faces or some familiar names popping up in chat, and a few new people as well, which is always fantastic to see. We are Green Tech Southwest. We'll tell you a little bit more about us very shortly, and we promise to keep it brief. One of the main things that we love to start with is just to say a really big thank you to our sponsors. We have a number of sponsors that make these events possible. Mike, Ellen and myself run these events as a voluntary thing, as a community thing, but we couldn't do it without the help of our sponsors. So we just want to say a big thank you to AdLib, a big thank you to Crystal Hosting, and a big thank you to the Set2 Sustainable Business Support Programme, from which we have Laurent here today representing. We're also on social media. We're not using Twitter as much these days, given some recent sort of leadership changes in Twitter. It's rather taking the shine off Twitter for us a little bit, but we are there, and we've got lots of fantastic posts that we've been making on that account. But we're very, very active on LinkedIn. So for those of you that are on LinkedIn and want to stay in touch with the green tech community, the green tech space in between meetups, check us out on LinkedIn. As I mentioned, let's just get those slides moving. The three of us that are on the screen at the moment, myself, I'm Hannah, Ellen, who's that way. I never know which way to point. I think it does a mirror. Ellen's somewhere here, and Mike as well. We're the co-founders, and we're also today's event organisers. You don't need to know lots about us, but we do want to tell you about our fantastic volunteers. So Joe, who I think is managing Twitter today. We do still do the live tweeting, much thanks to Joe's continued efforts, and Sam and Tariq, who do also help out at our in-person events as well. So thank you so much to all of our volunteers. And John, yes, you've mentioned Mastodon might provide a more palatable alternative to Twitter. Very much so. I personally have made that switch as well. A little bit about our community and what we're here to do. As I mentioned, we're a volunteer-run community, and our aim is to showcase a variety of people using tech to solve different sustainability problems using ingenious methods. So we do like to talk about the positive sides of tech, as well as some of the sustainability issues that tech itself brings. And Deborah today is going to be talking about that latter, that sustainability issues that we have just from tech itself existing. So we're really, really excited to have Deborah today. Aside from showcasing what people are doing with tech, one of the key things of our mission is to support a local community. So we are focused on the Southwest, but many of you we know will be joining us from other places outside of the Southwest today, and you are most welcome to be here. But our focus is on serving and representing the interests and needs of Southwest first, and also maintaining an open and inclusive ethos. So all of our events always have an online element to them, so people can join us from anywhere. And we do our absolute best to make everybody feel welcome and included too. We have a code of conduct and a group constitution, which we're going to pop in the link in the comments now. The code of conduct, super simple. The code of conduct simply says, be kind, be respectful to other people. Sustainability can be an emotive topic for many people. So we ask you to treat each other's points of view with due care and consideration. And that's it. Be nice to each other, really. That's the long and short of what we ask of you. We've been running these events now for over 3 years. We've built up our pretty cool repository of slides and information regarding things that are happening to do with green tech. And you can access all of that content, including all of the recordings of all of our sessions at greentechsouthwest.org. I think we're on Meetup. Is it 34 or 35 today? Mike, I know you always remember the numbers better than I do.
34, I think.
34. So this is our 34th Meetup today. And we are just shy of 2,000 members. I think we had a quick look today, didn't we? We are 22 members off being 2,000. So thank you to all of you for your continued support of our community and continuing to turn up and make these events possible. We really appreciate it. So coming to a little bit of a community slot now. Ellen mentioned this in the preamble for those of you that were here earlier, but perhaps for those of you that have just joined now, let me quickly explain what this slot is about. This slot, Community 60-second intros, is really the equivalent of us being in a room together and somebody standing up and saying, hey, I'd like to take 60 seconds to introduce myself and share something like a green tech project or initiative you're working on, maybe a request for help or guidance from the community, or maybe some knowledge or a resource that you've come across recently that you would like to share with others. All of those are perfectly valid reasons to come on screen and say hi, or maybe just a little bit of networking as well, just to present yourself to the community and say, hey, this is me, it's nice to meet you. Any of those reasons for doing a 60-second intro would be very valid. And please let us know in the comments if you would like to come on screen. And Nick, hello Nick, haven't seen you for a while, so it's nice to see you here today. Nick has put his hand up to do a 60-second intro, as has Laurent as well. So Nick, I think we're going to invite you on first. You should get the little accept and join thing come up. And bear in mind that your camera and microphone will be enabled straight away. Awesome. Nick, how lovely to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Loving your new background. That's new. Very cool. Very arty.
Lovely home office. So,
yes.
you know, that's it. Anyway, I'll crack on.
Yeah, Nick, over to you.
Nice and prompt. Yeah. I'm Nick. I work for Leap. We're a full-service creative agency, mostly based in Cornwall. I'm based in Bristol. Essentially, sort of, you know, this month, Speed Corp month, we're trying to help as many businesses sort of kick off their sort of low carbon digital journey. And so at the moment, we're offering a sort of promotion on our digital carbon audits for websites. So if something like that interests you, then please sort of reach out in the comments, and then we can have a little chat, sort of, you know, and see where things go. And that's it.
Wonderful. Nick, you're so good at this. Thank you so much. That was bang on time, beautifully done, and really, really exciting to hear what you're doing. You know the drill. Please pop all the links into the comments so people can follow up and maybe share that amongst their wider communities as well, because I know the work that you do at Leap, and you in particular, have a lot of knowledge in this area. Nick is one of our past speakers as well, so perhaps we can dig out Nick's old slides and videos as well and pop that in the chat too.
Cool. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, so nice to see you, Nick. Thank you. See you soon. Okay, fantastic. So I believe we have Laurent coming on screen next. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here. Yeah.
There you are.
So I don't know which camera. Yeah. Hi, Hannah. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Well, yeah, so just wanted to do a bit of intro about what we do and why we sponsor as well. Green Tech Southwest event, so it's nice to see you all today. So my name is Laurent. I'm part of the CEDaCI Sustainable Business Support. We offer business support funded by the government to any small and medium organization based in the UK and especially in the west of England, LEP, so Bath, Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire. But also, and most importantly, what is more important for us as well is to give you access to the academic of the CEDaCI partnerships, so Bath, Bristol, Cardiff, Exeter, Southampton, and Surrey universities to develop collaborative R&D. So that's me in a nutshell. Thanks.
Oh, also legendarily succinct, Laurent. Thank you so much. And yeah, that list of universities and access to academic knowledge is really quite something, isn't it? That's one hell of an offer that you're making out. Amazing. Laurent?
Yeah, we do. We should try. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
Fantastic to see you, and thank you again for the support to the community through the sponsorship that you're giving us. It really helps and makes all the difference. And you know the drill. There's lots of links I'm sure you're about to pop into the chat, Laurent. So you know, please let people know how to take you up on these fantastic offers. Wonderful. And we have Rich Hill joining us today. Hello, Rich. How are you?
I'm all right. I've got two cameras and it's just suddenly shoved me over to this one. So I'm going to try and talk to this one.
Excellent. Fantastic. Now, Rich, I don't think we've had you to do a 60-second intro before.
No.
No,
this
fantastic.
Is, first time of being involved with anything on the Southwest group. So it's great to be here and it's great to see what you're up to.
Wonderful. Well, you're most welcome. Thank you so much. The floor is yours.
Okay.
Off you go.
Yeah, so I am a founder and CEO of Green Cloud Computing. It's a startup that uses computers powered exclusively with renewable energy. We have a processing platform to handle computational tasks. They can be kind of triggered or scheduled or even accessed via the web. We're a young startup. We have some funding from Innovate UK, which is coming to the end actually tomorrow, but we'll be launching our website that will allow you to come and join and do very, very green processing. So if anybody's interested to learn more, please get in touch on greencloudcomputing.io and I'll drop a link in the chat.
Fantastic. Rich, love to hear what you're doing. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to sort of say I work at the Green Web Foundation, so if you haven't got yourself registered with us as a verified green hosting provider, let me know.
All right.
You know, we'd love to include you.
I'd love to do a bit more and just tell people in a bit more depth than 60 seconds, because there's tons of exciting ideas that we've got about Green Cloud, and I just to be quick, I started this because I was
super quick,
shocked, about how much energy data centers use.
Fantastic. Rich, we'd love to take you up on that offer. Let's stay in touch. Thank you so much. But we do try and keep our 60-second intros short and snappy. So I do appreciate that. And really, really nice to meet you. Thank you for coming along today.
Thanks very
really
much.
Wonderful to have you with us. Okay, fantastic. So we say goodbye to Rich for now. And I don't know, Mike and Ellen, did you spot anyone else putting their hands up for a 60-second intro today? We will give the good folks there 10 or 20 seconds in case anybody's just plucking up the courage to come on screen, because I know sometimes you just, you know, if we give people that extra little time, you might step forwards. Okay. But doesn't sound like anybody needs that little nudge today. Okay, and we are bang on time at the moment, which is always an absolute pleasure. So thank you. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Laurent. Thank you, Rich. That was absolutely fantastic to hear your updates today. Thank you so much for making our community feel more vibrant and wider than just those of us that you see on the screen. So we really appreciate you doing that. So we now move on to the main event, and Ellen and I will say goodbye. Mike will bring on Deborah, and then the floor will be Deborah's, and we'll be hearing all about Deborah's amazing work. We're so chuffed to have Deborah agree to come and talk for us today. So it's a real pleasure and an honour that she's going to be here. So from Ellen and I, goodbye for now. And Mike, we hand the floor to you.
Yeah, just waiting for Deborah to return from her lunch, actually. I'm sure she's not far away. Just trying to send her an invite here.
Fantastic. Oh, I see. So
yeah,
I think
can't quite invite her at the moment.
No, I wonder if her computer went to sleep. Maybe it booted her out. We know Deborah's around. We've spoken to her already. We had a nice chat with her as we set up for today. And Rich's comment there has really made me giggle, actually. If you need me to talk more about Green Cloud, just say, haha, love it. Thank you, Rich. We might well be calling upon you your help there, but hopefully Deborah will be joining us very, very soon. I don't know what's gone wrong there. So yes, I guess, well, we need to fill the time, don't we?
Well, I might give her a quick call.
Yeah, all right, Mike, you do that. Don't forget to mute yourself before you do that. And I will think of something to say. We need Ellen for this. Here she comes. She's coming. She's coming, Mike. It's all good.
She's here.
Lovely. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate your comment as well. I think that was a nice way of helping us fill the time there. Deborah, hello, welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. My computer decided to go to sleep.
I did say, didn't I? I said, I bet that's what's happened.
Okay.
Great stuff. Okay, Hannah, we will say farewell for now.
Yep, fantastic. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, Deborah. Thanks so much again for coming along and doing the talk for us. Obviously we've kind of talked a bit about what you do at CEDaCI, but yes, we'd very much like to see your talk. So I'll disappear shortly. Just a quick reminder that if anyone has questions for Deborah, if you can pop them in the Ask a Question section down the bottom, and upvote any that you particularly would like asked. Sometimes we get too many and we need a little bit of help in sort of learning which ones to ask. So we'll get through as many as we can. But yeah, we'll move over to Deborah's talk. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm just going to hope screen share. Why isn't that working? Sorry, I don't know what's going on here. Close the message. That's it. Oh, we've got millions of. Let me get rid of that. Can you see the screen okay now?
Yeah, if you want to pop it into presentation. There we go. Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Because I could see millions of, the Hall of Mirrors again, millions of reflections and stuff. Right, hello everyone. Sorry for the sort of slightly erratic start, but I've had lots of meetings all morning and I've just had to have a rapid bite to eat before I talk to you. So my name's Deborah Andrews. My official title is Professor of Design for Circularity and Sustainability and Circularity, and I work in the School of Engineering at London South Bank University, and I am the sort of founder and academic lead for the CEDaCI project, which I'm going to talk you through now. So without further ado, I'm not sure what your expertise is in the audience. I think quite a lot of you come from tech background and maybe more software than hardware orientated. But if you know information already, then I apologize for repeating. But if you're unfamiliar with this, then I hope that you find it interesting. So it's astonishing to think that since the development of modern computing as we know it during the Second World War and the introduction of the World Wide Web, 1989, 1990, that since then, 64.4% of the global population have become connected, which is quite staggering. And now data traffic is equivalent to well over 4 trillion gigabytes a year. So obviously all of this data is stored, processed and whatever in data centers, and they may be as small as a cupboard with one rack and 2 or 3 servers, or they may be the size equivalent to about 19 football pitches, like hyperscale centers run by Google, Microsoft, Facebook, etc. In very often they're located on the edge of the Arctic. But the principles are exactly the same. The activities are exactly the same. They are populated with racks of servers that are in effect computers without screens. And nobody knows exactly how many data centers exist around the world. It's estimated to be about 7 million. And there's a concentration in the UK, Germany, France, and Netherlands because of the financial sector. And we can see the massive investment between 2010 and 2020. It's ongoing. During that decade, it was $100 billion in the sector, and that is continuing. But partly because of the scale and speed of development of the sector, and focus up until very recently has been on 24 hours a day, 7-day a week operation, and on operational energy efficiency rather than anything else. That was the only thing that was considered in relation to sustainability. So we know that data center growth is ongoing to accommodate the continually growing amount of data traffic. And if we look, the last sort of industrial revolution at the end of the screen to the right-hand side, Industry 4.0, is the integration of cyber and physical systems. So just about everything that we purchase now has got some kind of embedded technology, data collection and so forth. And this is going to continue. So it's not surprising that by 2030, data center provision will have expanded. Based on 2018 figures, it'll have expanded 500%. So we have a really, a growing, thriving industry that is delivering a whole array of services. But at the moment, sustainability is primarily limited to energy efficiency. So the speed and speed and scale of the sectoral development and emphasis on service provision mean that the whole sector has really grown up in a linear fashion, commonly known as linear economy, where we take resources out of the ground, we make stuff, we use it, and then we dispose of it. And we don't think during the design or any other phases what is going to happen to stuff at end of life. And consequently, we've got a growing volume of e-waste. It's the fastest growing waste stream in the world. And that's exacerbated at the moment, partly by very low recycling rates for electrical and electronic equipment. And also, this is compounded by the fact that the infrastructure is completely underdeveloped. So even if we wanted to recycle everything, we simply wouldn't be able to because we haven't got the infrastructure to do that. So what we've done, and I'll talk a little bit more about our campus, the CEDaCI, or Circular Data Center Campus, as we go through the talk. But one of the key things that we wanted to do was to help to reduce the amount of e-waste that's being produced at the moment. At the moment, it's equivalent to about 50 million tons a year, or 6 kilos per person. And if we carry on doing what we're doing, it's predicted that by 2050, that would be equivalent to 120 million tons. At the minute, less than 20%, it's estimated to be about 17%, is formally collected and legally recycled. The rest is informally collected. Some is sold onto secondary markets sort of under the wire. Some is sold or transported outside the EU and recycled in the most hideously hazardous and unhealthy conditions. But the exact processing data isn't known because so much of it is, as I say, under the wire. The integral value of e-waste is astonishing. It's well over $60 billion, and so this is stuff that has been wasted in inverted commas to date. So the EU and now the UK, of course, because we're not part of Europe, have become very conscious of this waste and the amount of stuff of value that is included in it. So electrical and electronic equipment, it varies according to type, but there are well over 50 elements are included in that equipment. In sort of 2011, 2014, 15, the EU had identified a whole array of critical raw materials, 7 to 10 of which are included in electrical and electronic equipment. By 2021, the EU said that their concern or materials of concern, i.e. critical raw materials, had increased. Actually, that's a typo, I beg your pardon, it should be 30, not 20. So these are materials that have very high technical and economic value to the EU. And the UK, coincidentally, on the 13th of March, they published a local critical raw materials publication. The government published that. And they again cite a huge number of materials that if we don't have them, we're going to be really stuck. And it's not just for computing, it's for basically all the green technology that we are keen to develop. So things like wind turbines, electric vehicles, etc., are all dependent on many of these critical raw materials. So that means that all of these various factors really mean that we've got to move away from a linear economy. We can't keep taking, making, using and disposing of stuff. And we need to develop a circular economy, which sounds comparatively simple on paper, but in reality, it's really, really complex because of the array of different actors that will be involved in this. But essentially, a circular economy mirrors natural life cycles where, if you think about trees growing, flowering, making seeds, deciduous trees, leaves fall off in the autumn, they decompose and become food for the next generation of seeds or the next year's growth in a tree. And that's exactly what we need to do for technical equipment and materials as well. But it's not just about recycling at end of life. A circular economy, if we look at the waste management hierarchy, it includes other factors too. So I mentioned that we haven't got a good recycling infrastructure. So we need to extend product life and keep things in service for as long as is technically and economically feasible. And anyway, why would you want to take something out of service that is still perfectly functional? Simply to recycle it, it doesn't make either economic or environmental or any other kind of sense. So we also need to reduce the materials that we use, and that sort of resource efficiency, if you like, we can achieve that through good design. So we are using less embodied materials in essence to make things without compromising functionality and performance. And then underneath recycle, we have energy recovery, incinerating stuff and using heat to generate electricity. And then we want to dispose of as little as possible. And whatever we dispose of in landfill generally would be non-hazardous. That's very, very important. There are a lot of hazardous substances in electrical and electronic equipment, so they should definitely not be landfilled anyway, because they leach into soil and water and sometimes air. So this is the proposal to develop a circular economy for the data center industry, which one would hope that it's comparatively easy to do this within one sector, but I'll discuss some of the challenges and so forth and how we're trying to help the industry to change. So the EU wisely published their Circular Economy Action Plan initially in 2015, and then a much more comprehensive plan in 2020. And this plan focuses on sectors that use most resources and where there's good potential for circularity. And these include electronics and ICT and batteries. So obviously this relates very directly to the data center industry as well as computing equipment. And there's a significant potential to increase jobs linked to the circular economy. You know, there are a lot of stories about, well, if we keep recycling stuff, doesn't that mean that there's going to be an adverse impact on the manufacturing sector? Well, there may be, but that will be countered by potential to create new kinds of jobs linked to circularity, be they repair or recycling or whatever. So in the Circular Economy Action Plan, there are 35 key points, and it's interesting to note that 24 of these relate directly to the data center industry. So anybody who is adopting or certainly aware and attempting to adopt good practices promoted in this plan is going to have a significant advantage when the points for action actually become legislation. And we're already beginning to see that with things like the right to repair, which has been introduced for a lot of consumer goods, and it will trickle down into more commercial goods. That's absolutely doubtless. So being aware of all of these things, so I've worked with the data center industry for a number of years on different research projects and so forth before I actually joined or came up with the idea for CEDaCI. But I was acutely aware that there was no sort of joined up thinking. It was a sector that was very fragmented. And although there was a huge amount of knowledge and expertise across the sector, people working in different subsectors didn't talk to each other. So one of the things with CEDaCI, which was developed to sort of kickstart the circular economy for the data center industry, was to adopt a whole life thinking approach to the challenge, because every single action that takes part in one subsector has an impact on all the other subsectors. So you can't develop a circular economy without looking at everything simultaneously. And one of our USPs has been to bring together representatives from across the industry, which, you know, most of the people who've attended our co-creation events and so forth say that it was phenomenally beneficial because they'd never spoken to people in other sectors. And then we're learning from each other, sharing knowledge, etc. And as previously said, the project supports the Circular Economy Action Plan. It's also reducing waste. And the overarching aim is to prevent supply chain problems and therefore to secure uninterrupted data center operation and service. And the supply chain problems, well, we've already seen that, you know, massive amount of stuff is being dumped, it's being wasted, resources are being wasted. But yeah, there's also, I should have mentioned, there are challenges for these critical raw materials, not just to do with waste, but the criticality is determined by the geopolitical location of the raw materials initially, many of which are found in China, and then also the amount of material that's currently being recycled, which we can see is very, very low. In fact, many critical raw materials are not recycled at all, which is pretty shocking. Also, whether they can be substituted with other materials is also critical, and most of them can't. They have very distinct and unique physical properties. So, you know, we're stuck with those, we have to use them. So, you know, all of these factors, unless we start to react now, we could actually end up with problems in the data center sector and with IT equipment, etc., ICT equipment. And that obviously will have a massive impact on all our economies, health, education, and so forth, because we're so dependent on digital technology and the services it offers. So the CEDaCI project, I set up and built a team of the most brilliant partners. We have a fantastic working relationship. It's been a really brilliant project. And one of the things that we do, which again distinguishes our project, in order to build all our models, our life cycle sustainability assessment models, and these include environmental, economic and social assessment of those factors, impacts, and also we're measuring the criticality of embodied materials as well. We have done everything ourselves, i.e. we've collected primary source data. We're not relying on secondary source data, which you're never quite sure how reliable it is. And a lot of assumptions are made, models are extrapolated. And again, you never know how accurate or inaccurate they are. So we have reverse engineered a huge amount of equipment, mainly servers. And that means, well, the research assistants involved in this, they're brilliant now. They're lightning quick at disassembling stuff. We then make inventories and identify all the materials and manufacturing processes of all the individual components. We send the PCBs, the printed circuit boards, and we've also sent hard drives to our partners in France, and they, TND, then process them using thermal and chemical processes to identify exactly how much of what material are in the PCBs. So basically, the manufacturers won't give you any information. It's an absolutely closed world. Different people, subcontractors who subcontract to someone else. So trying to track and trace materials and components through supply chains is virtually impossible. It's like unraveling millions of plates of spaghetti simultaneously. It's really difficult. So that's one of the reasons why we've had to take this rather sort of almost back to front approach to data collection. But it does mean that all of our data is robust and our models and results are robust. So all of the work that we've done has fed into the Circular Data Center Compass, which is a free online resource. The idea is it's available to everybody. We're a publicly funded project, and therefore our outputs are accessible to everybody. But the intention was really to serve anybody involved in the data center industry, and in particular procurement teams, so they can make really well-informed decisions. Are they going to what is their business priority? They can compare environmental, economic and social impacts and materials criticality in different servers, and they can identify the preferred circular business option. So it's very important. Again, there's been a bit of sort of misunderstanding about what sustainability is. And now I think more people are aware that it does include economic and social factors, as well as consideration of the environment. But we need to work towards finding a sweet spot where environmental, economic and social factors are all considered in relation to each other. That's genuine sustainability. It's not just thinking about the environment. So here I've included a slide which is possibly one of the most impactful pieces of work that we have done in the project. There's carbon and carbon equivalents have really, they have been and are the focus of a massive amount of research and policy developments and so forth. At best, carbon assessment is indicative, and at worst, it can actually be misleading. It really relates to, and it's sort of based on very early life cycle thinking, which was just considered operational energy and some embodied energy as well. But we've argued that we need to move beyond that, particularly for components and products that have very high environmental impact. And this graph really shows this. So we looked at two different servers, one old server, which was not energy efficient, and a newer server, which is more energy efficient. So if you look at the bars on the left-hand side of the chart, we can see the light colored bars relate to operational impact. And this is graph is based on percentage, 100% is, everything relates to that. So in terms of a fraction of 100% in an old energy hungry server, if you're just looking at carbon assessment, it looks as though environmental impact from operational energy is equivalent to 85% of impact over life, and that embodied impact is only 15% accounts for embodied impact. If we look the next set of bars along, this is a newer server, it's more energy efficient, and the ratio shifts a little bit. Operational impact is equivalent to 80% of impact over life, and embodied impact to 20%. And those are in carbon-only assessments. Now, when we look at our full life cycle assessment, we see a rather different story. And we see that in the older server, all of a sudden, operational impact appears to be 70% and embodied impact 30%, because we're considering thousands of different inputs and outputs, not just carbon and its equivalents. And then the same for the CEDaCI model at the end. It's a very efficient server. And we see again this balance of operation to embodied impact has shifted dramatically, and it's about 50-50. So that's why we are looking at or using really comprehensive life cycle assessment that, as I say, includes thousands of inputs and outputs to get really accurate understanding of the impact of, in this case, servers, but we're applying it to other networking equipment and so forth now. The principles can be applied to any product, of course. So our compass, if you're interested, you can find that via the CEDaCI website. When you sign up, you have the option to either compare a current server, and you can tweak components. So imagine you're upgrading, and you can see what the environmental and other benefits are of doing that. Incidentally, we also include operational energy in our models because older servers are more, they consume more. So it may, by comparing servers, you might decide that actually it's going to be better to retire an older piece of equipment and to recycle it or whatever at end of life. And then we have our design evaluator as well. So everything is done via drop-down menu. All the information from all the different life cycle stages, from extraction of raw materials right through, is included. And we use something called a circular footprint formula, which accounts for burdens and benefits linked to use of secondary and virgin materials. So if products already have second life or recycled materials in them, then that is accounted for in our modeling as well. And then in compare, you have the option to change components, and the results are presented in a really, really simple way. Oh, I should say, by the way, that all of these are sort of default products or components at the moment. Then you have the option, when you get your results, to either get a snapshot, and you can see, higher and lower benefits. Is your company focusing on environmental factors, economic factors, social factors? And we included the criticality as a point of interest as much as anything else, but raising awareness because so little is known about this in the public realm. So you wouldn't compare environmental impact and economic or life cycle costing. You look at these three data sets or result sets in isolation, and we particularly disaggregated the results to allow users to base their decisions on their company's priorities. And then you also have the option to download get a much more granular printout of information, numerical, etc. End of life, we have developed more sophisticated recycling processes than the bog standard process, where normally now recycling ferrous metals, aluminium, copper, and gold are reclaimed. Everything else is abandoned. So that basically eliminates reclamation of critical raw materials. So we, working with our French partners, TMD, they've developed more sophisticated recycling processes to reclaim more critical raw materials, things like antimony, tin, tantalum, etc. So it's a better recycling process. So you could choose, do you want to go with business as usual or the CEDaCI recommended recycling process? Are you going to refurbish and reuse, or are you going to send your product to landfill? Now, we don't advocate that, but we include landfill in our models because it really highlights the benefit of recycling and refurbishment. Again, the results are disaggregated, and you might choose to look at things from an environmental impact perspective, or, is criticality specifically important to you? It's your choice, but you can make your decisions. And the last factor in the tool is, I'm just looking at time here, I think I'm okay, Eco Design Evaluator. Because up to 80% of a product's environmental impact is determined during the design phase, we've included the Eco Design Evaluator so that anybody involved in this can make informed decisions. It is so important. So if you think about it, the compare or second life and end of life options in the tool, they are reactive. They are reacting to the problems that we currently have. What the Eco Design Evaluator does, it's a proactive element in the tool, which if we shift to designing more circular products, then we will be able to eliminate some of the challenges that we have in terms of upgrading products and what to do with stuff at end of life. Because at the moment, most stuff is not designed to be disassembled easily. And this is a barrier to the circular economy, of course, because if disassembly is difficult, it's going to be expensive. So we want to change that. So this element in the tool, again, it's like all the other elements. There are drop-down menus. We've also included a whole array of guidelines and so forth based on the Circular Economy Action Plan. It's very easy to use. It's live. So as a designer, you select various criteria and you see the spider's web on the right-hand side of the screen. It starts off as white, and as you make decisions, it begins to fill with different amounts of blue according to how circular or otherwise your decisions are. And then along the bottom, you've got a circularity indicator. So moving from red, not circular decision or product, to green, circular product. And we've designed our own server, which we are hoping to prototype. We've reduced overall mass by a third by eliminating unnecessary components and using thinner-walled chassis, for example, the casing. So we are being resource efficient. We've reduced the number of components, some of which were, and when I say components, they could be things as small as screws, but we've rationalized everything to make disassembly easy and also to increase resource efficiency. And then the final really important point, we have reduced the number of plastics, or the mass of plastics, and the range of plastics as well. Now, this is really important because in servers, most plastic products are coated, excuse me, with a fire retardant coating, and that means they can't be recycled. So you end up either having to incinerate or dump them. So we've reduced the mass of plastics, and that's really thinking forward. Many of the plastic components, where possible, they've been replaced with metal components so that in future it'll be much easier to recycle them. And that is our project. I think we are kickstarting things in the sector. We certainly publicise all of our work, and people are, I hope, genuinely interested. We're working with industry. People are wanting to make changes, which is great. But we've still got an awfully long way to go. This is the very first stage of something that, it should be like dropping a stone in a pool and the ripples will go on and on. If any of you are interested in finding out more about the rationale behind the project, then you'd be very welcome to join us at our SME training sessions. We've got 3 running in April, May and June. You can sign up via the CEDaCI website, and then we'll have a grand finale in September when the project finishes. But we do hope that we're going to leave a really good legacy. So thank you very much. I will now attempt to stop screen sharing.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much, Deborah.
Yeah, hang on a minute. I'm just can't quite. Oh, stop sharing. There we go. Right, I've stopped sharing, but I can't see you. Oh, where are we? Nope.
You're on screen with me.
Okay, I can't see my. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. There we go. That's it.
Great stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very, very much. And yeah, I can see some applause coming through in the comments. If anyone wants to put any tech equipment in there as an emoji, or applause will do nicely. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. I can see why you're so busy. The Compass tool's amazing, and you've actually built your own server as well, which just looks fantastic.
We've designed it, Mike. We are looking for someone to help us to make a prototype. But one thing I didn't mention that I will do, apart from the fact that the tool is, we're doing final sort of tweaks and tests and adding a little bit more data, but it will be available online for everybody. And the other thing is that the server design will also be available. We are joining the Open Compute project, who promote obviously open everything. And so the drawings and so forth will be available to, well, we hope it would be fantastic if manufacturers actually adopt the principles that we've developed for them, examples of good practice.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
thank
we
you
look
very
forward
much.
to that.
Applause. That's great. Thank you.
Great, lovely. Well, we have got some questions for you.
Okay.
So there's 3 or 4 that have come through, so we'll whiz through these. And if anyone has any that they want to add to the Ask a Question section, please do as we get through these. So I'm going to start with the top one, which comes from Rich Hill, who was on earlier. So Rich is interested to know how future data center design is being aligned with a carbon neutral existence.
Cool. Okay. Well, there's quite a lot of, shall we say, nods in the right direction. That I think one of the big challenges is that the industries work very much on a one-size-fits-all basis, and you can't do that whether you're looking at carbon management and reduction, or overall general life cycle sustainability. You can't adopt a one-size-fits-all approach. So you need to think about different energy sources according to your location. One reason why there are a lot of data centers up in the Arctic Circle, for example, is because the ambient temperature is lower than Southern Europe, for example, so that you can reduce energy consumption for cooling. But there's a lot of use of hydro up there as well, hydro-generated electricity. Again, that has a lower impact than burning fossil fuels. So it's, in the UK, maybe we should consider going completely wind generated, because we've got the windiest coastline in Europe, etc., etc. And then there's the introduction of things, because cooling is one of the big challenges, of course, in data centers and in terms of energy consumption. One of the big things that some companies are trying to produce, instead of cooling things by air, is use liquid technology, and that could be on chip, i.e. having little reservoirs within servers, or submerging electronics in liquids. What's the term? It's not water. They're basically oils and so forth. The term will come back to me in a minute. Well, we did some research about that and found out that if you're using that technology in the UK, when you're looking at embodied and operational impacts, there's not a massive benefit at all. But if you're using say if you build a data center somewhere in Central Africa, for example, where ambient temperature is much higher, then there could be a significant benefit because you're reducing electricity for cooling. So there are a lot of challenges. There's quite a bit of mythology around shifting everything to the cloud, because you're basically shifting from one kind of data center to another, and you're not diminishing or reducing the amount of data traffic, etc. You've still got, and in fact, some of the big hyperscale centers have got hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of servers. So there are some arguments saying, well, it is more efficient. Other people say it isn't. It just depends on the sort of model that you use to assess impact. But I think data sobriety is probably a good thing. Not looking at 4,000 color photographs of kittens or running lots of videos. Video consumption produces, it's very data hungry, as you guys all know. So actually, I think, the sector is trying to do a bit, but I think consumers also need to do quite a lot to help to reduce carbon and all other emissions. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that question and answer. So on to a question from Tim Stone. The comparison looks very useful. Could the method to determine these metrics be applied to other IT hardware?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got one of our researchers, Christina. She's doing a PhD as well, and she actually developed the Eco Design Evaluator within the project, and she is applying that, looking across the data center industry and seeing how that could be. At the moment, it's just that element, the design evaluator, how it could be applied to other equipment. But she's also gathering data all about things like networking equipment. So we would love to extend the project and build models for anything and everything that you find in the data center. But unfortunately, we're running out of time and money. If anybody's won the pools, we'd be very willing to accept a donation. But yeah.
Sounds brilliant. Great stuff. So next question from Kevin Chappell. With suppliers taking the easy route and the inevitable sticks, brackets, restrictions, fines, controls that will follow, in your opinion, what carrots could be offered to get them on board?
Oh, yeah. It's quite a challenge with original equipment manufacturers, because they obviously want to sell more and more equipment rather than enabling reuse, extending product life, etc. I don't think they're so bothered about recyclability, but I think the sticks, things like legislation, our UK circular economy package and the EU circular economy action plan, those are good sticks. But carrots is slightly more different. I think we need to have a sort of shift in business models and think more perhaps about providing a system and service rather than simply selling stuff to people and then, in a way, abdicating responsibility. There are an HP, for example. I know I don't know if they've actually implemented it, but they've talked about implementing this sort of idea, a bit like Xerox, who rent their photocopiers. So there's a lot of sense in the way of having sort of ongoing income, smaller bits, but a long-term income stream rather than great chunks of income and benefit every so often. So I think if anything, economics are going to drive this. Apart from some individuals who are passionate, and there are people in this sector who are very passionate about changing the status quo. So hopefully we're presenting some good exemplars that will motivate people. But you do feel a bit as though there are two groups. There are the people who get it and the people who don't, and we're trying to reach the people who don't. Those are the people who haven't come to this talk today, I guess. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for the question, Kevin. So one more question we've got here, again from Rich. I'm interested to know what existing data centers are looking to do to address their energy consumption, which I think you partly answered with cooling, but
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be good to get your thoughts.
There have been quite a lot of drivers about operational energy, and servers literally having to consume below a certain sort of energy threshold, and that includes everything. So that's a big thing. But also, if you think about it, I guess cost of energy is going to play quite an important role. Well, it certainly has for domestic customers and quite a lot of smaller businesses. But I think energy costs are going to be quite a driver of efficiency as well. And there's a lot of not very good practice in data centers where things aren't set up as well as they can be to maximize performance and minimize energy, etc. So oh, got an echo all of a sudden, that's it. So there are consultancies who are supporting operators to improve their practice. So I think it's, like all of these things, it's lots of small changes. So is it the British Cycling Team approach? Lots of small changes that add up to one really big change.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much for that. So yeah, that concludes our questions. So yeah, thank you for going through those, and yeah, some good questions in there as well. So yeah, thank you very much again. I'm just going to bring Hannah back on. There you go. Good stuff. And yeah, just from me, Deborah, thank you very much again for doing such an amazing talk. And yeah, we look forward to sort of following CEDaCI and see what you get up to next.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for promoting this on LinkedIn as well. I've suddenly become a bit of a social media star, I think. No, but thanks to everybody in the audience as well, and please don't hesitate to, sign up for one of the training sessions if you want to find out more. Okay, thank you very much.
Wonderful. Well, Deborah, I think you know how much we've appreciated your time and all the work that you're doing as well to move this forwards in the sector. So we're just going to ask the audience for one more round of applause. We'd love to see your emojis for Deborah. Deborah hasn't been able to watch the comments as she's been giving her talk today. So let her know you're there. Let her know what you thought. Let's have some emojis and some thank you coming through in that chat. Whilst that happens, Deborah, I'm going to release you back into your day and say thank you once again for all your time today. And I'm going to bookend today's event and let the community know about a few things that are coming up.
Okay, thanks ever so much.
An absolute pleasure. Deborah, you're a superstar. Thank you. Okay, so my job now is to bookend today's event. I know that some of you might be dropping off as we've overrun a tiny bit, but that's okay. So my job is to bookend the event and just see you all off into the rest of your days. So one of the things that we always really like to do at Green Tech Southwest is let you know about other upcoming events of interest or other places where you can find out information about green tech. There are a couple of communities. We mention both of these communities at every event because they are just so powerful in this sector. So we've got climateaction.tech. I know many people here are a member of climateaction.tech. It's a global community of over 8,000 tech sectors workers, all united in taking action to tackle climate change. They run lots and lots of events and well worth checking out. For those of you that are based in the Southwest, there's the Future Leap Network, also was known as the Future Economy Network, so we've still got their old URL there. They are one of the largest green business networks in the UK. A lot of their events are online as well as being in person in Bristol, so really worth checking them out. Now, we actually noticed that April seems a little bit quiet for green tech related events. Either that or our various networks aren't bringing all that many events into our sphere. March has been crazy, crazy busy. There's been loads going on in March, but looking ahead to April, there doesn't seem so much. So we pulled out a few resources or things that we thought some of our audience might find interesting. So I found this first one, a 17-minute video summarising some of the key points from the IPCC report. That actually came to me via CAT, the climateaction.tech network. a very nice way of condensing 9,000 pages into something a little more accessible. So definitely worth checking that out. Another recent discovery that I've made is the climatetechdistillery.com, which is a weekly newsletter giving a very digestible and easy summary of one climate topic each week that you're supposed to be able to read in under 5 minutes. I think there was a recent one about plastics, which relates to our May event, which I'll mention in a minute. But if you're interested in learning more about all kinds of different climate tech, so not just digital tech, but all the kinds of tech, I really recommend that as a very, very helpful resource. And last but not least, for those of you that perhaps enjoy listening, I'd highly recommend the green.io podcast. I've been on it. I think we've had a few of our other speakers be on it. It's very, very well run by Gail and covers a lot of very interesting hands-on approaches to greening tech as well. So we wanted to mention those to you this week, perhaps if you're looking for some learning, but as I mentioned, we don't have too many events to share with you. Perhaps some of these might tickle your fancy. We do have some events coming up though. We've got our next hybrid event on April the 20th. So that will be in Bristol at the Engine Shed and also with an online presence as well. We've been working really, really hard to make the online presence as enjoyable as the in-person presence. So hopefully you won't feel like a second citizen if you do join us online for that. We've got 2 absolutely fantastic speakers coming along for that. We've got Aisha Stewart from Business West, who's going to be talking about net zero for business, and Adam Turner, who is Head of Digital Sustainability at Deborah and leads on a lot of UK government work in this space, talking about the UK government's digital sustainability strategy. So that's going to be an event absolutely worth coming for. And of course, our much awaited plastics event. I think we've had Kevin join us in the audience today, who'll be talking about his work at Pinweld. We've also got Neil Morris, who is the founder and CEO of Kelpie, talking about their work as well. So that's Tuesday, the 30th of May, and that one will be online. And so wrapping up today's event, your feedback means a lot to us. It really helps when people fill in the little meetup survey that comes through saying how many stars would you give this event. It tells us how well we've done. It's not always easy to tell how people found online events, so that kind of feedback is very valuable to us. You can also email us directly at greentechswest@gmail.com. And we've mentioned our Twitter and LinkedIn presences as well. Ellen mentioned at the beginning, we do have a forest which we plant trees in every month. We've run that, we have that with a Southwest-based company called Ecology. Many of you may have heard of them. I think we've had them to talk twice now over the last 3 years. If anybody wants to show their appreciation for today's session, you can plant some trees in our forest for around the same kind of price as a cup of coffee. And I'm not sure if that's Mike or Ellen in the chat, but we've got just over 2,000 trees now, which is pretty cool. And that's it. We won't keep you any longer. It just leaves us to say thank you so much for being a part of our community today. We don't take it for granted that you've given up your lunchtime to come and listen into this event. For those of you that have partaken actively in today's event through adding something to the chat or promoting our events outside of today's community. We appreciate that very much, and we appreciate you and all of your efforts. So thank you so much. And of course, a big thank you to today's star, Deborah, who gave us an absolutely excellent talk. As I mentioned in the chat, we'll be sharing the link to Deborah's slides, as well as a link to this recording if there was anything you wanted to watch back. And Ellen will be writing that up, and we'll be getting that out to you shortly. So thank you again. Thanks everyone for coming. Go well, and we hope to see you again soon. Thanks for joining Green Tech Southwest today.